Intro question. Intro question is, have you ever broken a bone? I'll start. I have never broken a bone. Super lucky in that. Played football and everything. Anyway, never broken a bone. Intentions for this call. One thing I'm really curious to hear a summary of the meeting on Thursday morning that I very misfortunately missed. So just kind of an overview of what was discovered there, basically, and then make sure that we're moving towards the demoing and testing for the upgrade. And I'll pass it to Chewy.
Hey, thanks, Bradley. I have broken bones in the past, but actually, like yesterday, I was pretty damn close to getting another one added to the collection. But I just got this, and yeah, well, the rest of my arm is really nasty. I wouldn't like to show you, but it was all scratches. Luckily, it was like a small motorcycle accident. I'm happy to say, not lately. I'm very happy to say that today. Uh, and about agenda topics, I would really like to suggest the conversation that happened today on Arbitrum migration. Uh, there's just like a lot going on, and I feel that we could probably talk about how it's gonna affect the Commons Swarm and all of the work that has been going on lately, especially after the Commons upgrade. So I would like to suggest this agenda topic. And other than that, intentions, just catch up. And yeah, luckily, like put something together with Sam so that we can uh, uh, put something out in One Hive's monthly updates. And with this, I'll pass it to Sam.
Sure. I never have broken a bone. I think that I have a very, very strong one because I have had some dirty falls. I have broken a lot of teeth, but not any bone. And regarding agenda topics, I like to share the state of the commons upgrade, the work that we have been doing this week, and I don't know. Also, all these topics that you have already put it into the agenda looks very, very interesting. I will pass it to Metaverde.
I have broken a bone, and it's always been in my hands and feet, except like one time the train slipped on my bike and I landed on my hip and elbow so hard I fractured my humerus. It got 2 tiny fractures at the top, but it took like a specialist to actually find them. But let me see. And I will show you in the meantime. Well, it looks like it's not loading. Can you guys see my video yet? It's showing it's loading at my end. But I have a broken finger that I'm trying to hold up. And my intention is just to catch up. But like it's healed now, but I jammed a finger in jiu-jitsu and it's in a permacurve now. So yeah, broken bones are a thing with me. And I'll pass to, I hope I'm saying this right, Chimdalu. He's a new designer for us at Tulip.
Nice.
Hello guys.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm Chindalu. I'm in Tulip Swarm rather, sorry. And I just got in, I think, around last week. Yeah, and I'm the product designer there. Yeah, nice to meet you all.
Oh, so have you broken any bones, and what are your intentions for the meeting? We always have weird questions at the beginning of meetings, so we like develop camaraderie.
Okay, I haven't broken. Okay, this is a weird question. Let me see. I think I've not broken any bones, but I think I've twisted an ankle once, and it wasn't funny. So yeah, I think it counts.
Yeah, and then intentions for the call, and then you pass it to someone.
Okay. Intentions for the call. So, well, actually, I wanted to just get to meet the guys on the. I saw that there was a live meeting going on, so I decided to just join in so I could meet other people working in one hive and network, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll take it from you. And then the next move is normally we pass it because otherwise it's like no one knows what to do, you know? It's the fun.
Oh, sorry about that. I
No,
didn't
it's
know.
okay. It's okay. This
All
is,
right.
I mean, this is the common swarm culture. I don't even know if this is a common culture in one hive or not, but it comes from like Giveth and common stack culture. Either way, I have broken a few bones. I have a really high pain tolerance, so when I break a bone, I just don't believe it. I just think it's fine, and then I walk on my broken leg, or ride my motorcycle with a clutch with a broken hand, and makes it worse until it eventually breaks all the way. And it's like fractures. I don't get fractures, basically. Long story short, they just turn into breaks. Anyway, and then, but it was cool. I actually broke my leg while I was still in crypto and had to gave some talks on stage with a broken leg, and went to Burning Man with a broken leg and led a Burning Man camp. So that was fun. In fact, a lot of my profile picture where I have this, I'm actually on a scooter with a unicorn, and this is like off of a real picture that was drawn because at Burning Man I had a handicap pass, so I could use this scooter to drive around, even though you're not usually supposed to be able to do that. So that's cool. So I have a broken leg in my profile picture. Yeah, intentions for this call. I am happy to review the outputs of the other call that we had about the improvements for the hatch. And yeah, I just want to definitely hear any updates from Sam on EVM CRISPR, and figure out what the blockers are to launching something, so that demoing the full product is always my dream. So I'll ask that every time. And I'll pass it to Vitor.
Hey guys, yeah, I broke a bone of my knee once, and it's pretty bad because I kind of run seriously, and sometimes I just cannot run more than some length because of my knee. There's still pains, and yeah, and I broke my little finger as well. And intentions for the call, sync up, see how's the Commons upgrade going, and giving some updates in the Commons upgrade dashboard as well, Commons config dashboard. And that's it. I'll pass to Septimus. Did you already go? Or anyone else?
Oh, this
I'm
mic
sure
is
if there's
every
anyone
time it's not looking good. Thank you, Vitor. Yeah, I didn't go. Yeah, my intention for the call is just to sync up agenda topic. I think it would be worse to talk about the state of the Commons Swarm regarding the 75% of the token governance after the forum discussion, just to make some clarity on the community. And regarding the bonds, I never broke one. I was very good kid all day playing video games, so no chance to get any bond broken. Yeah, I'll pass it to Bradley.
All right. Oh, I've already gone. Did we hit everybody yet?
I think it was the last one, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. All right. Excellent. So let's see. Last week we had a review of my mouse is shaking. I must have a virus. It's not good. All right, so Griff forwarded on the issues that need to be fixed. I think this will be a great place to start before we get into updates on the work. So let's see. I'll just read through some highlights real quick here. Remove the vesting completely because it was left in the pre-sale. I wasn't even aware there was vesting. Let's see.
That's exactly it. There's only the vesting is not even used. There's no the attached token is non-transferable. So why is there vesting on a non-transferable token anyway? We just left it there because the pre-sale was audited. But then it actually caused problems. So it was a mistake to leave it in. We thought it was the right solution, but it wasn't.
Okay.
But also time and stuff. It was the right solution given everything, but if we redid it, we should. Everything was the right thing because we launched, right? So like we did everything right, but we could have done it better. Here, maybe I'll go through these because I wrote this and I can give the context. Just reading now, it looks like it has no context. The refund script is a bit centralized, and it's probably, but that issue will be fixed if we remove vesting. If we don't remove the vesting, then maybe we can figure out a better solution there. The hatch connector is not needed, so the hatch connector is like what makes the website is the graph, the subgraph, and the subgraph tracks transactions, but we don't need to track transactions really. So we could remove that complication from the hatch completely, and really, yeah, it's just more work than it's needed, and we can just go directly from the contracts and events.
Yeah.
We can add a multi-step panel. I don't know if you guys have ever used Celeste, but it has this really nice like approve, like 3-step like pop-up that shows you your progress as you're making the transaction. So it would be nice to have that kind of UX experience for people who are making transactions, because they have to do approve, and then they have to send the transaction, and then so a similar walkthrough would be good. We had a white page error where the hatch went down and there was just a white page and unhandled error. And so that was because the graph went down. So again, if we remove the connector, then we won't have this white page error to worry about, but we should probably still make sure to handle errors a little bit better and make sure it goes to the error page and not just like a blank screen, because that's not good. And then we also need to Paulo and Sem analyzed a bug. Paulo found the bug, and Sem went deep into it to see like if there were any situations where someone could actually make money by sending money to the hatch and then rage quit. And so it's a weird incentive mismatch. And so we may just is kind of a parameters analysis, and Sem did a really nice collab file that analyzes it to see like if it was ever a problem. And like technically, if we would have only raised 800K, then it would have made sense for. It looked like, when I looked at it, at least, it would have made sense for Zeptimus to put in a few extra bucks to bring us to like 800 and like $100 or something, and he would have been able to rage quit it all and made more money than if he would have just like didn't put in the extra $100. Like it was like, because he had so many more impact hours, his impact hour rate went up more than the cost of putting money in. And so avoiding that, luckily we avoided it. It really wasn't there. There was just maybe just a little bit possibility, but just being aware of that vulnerability of a misaligned incentive. And then there were some other topics that were probably too big to include, but there were kind of ideas. But it felt like to me when I was in the call that these ideas were like more work than the impact. But it would be interesting to include Celeste into Dandelion DAO, and the migration tools themselves could be a really good product as like a DAO to DAO negotiation tool, where you both download this app and then the DAOs can actually exchange tokens and exchange things with each other within one transaction. And so the migration tooling is really interesting as a product. And then also we could, instead of starting out with a hatch and a Dandelion DAO, we could technically add some of the features of Dandelion DAO to Gardens, and actually start with a Gardens and not need the migration tools, and just migrate from, like, basically start with a Garden, allow rage quit, and then upgrade just the bonding curve into the Garden. Again, because we have migration tools, that's actually, it would be more work to do that than to work with where we are in the state of, tooling. But it was a possibility. Sam, did I miss anything, or do you feel like that was?
No, I think that you did it very well. And I also like your new look. you look very hacky.
That's right. I'm a super dark coder. What do they call that? Like sneaky dark coder? Yeah, that's it. I'm one of them. No, I'm just cold.
Cold and shadowy.
Where are you?
Yeah. I'm in Vienna outside of a conference, but the internet sucks. It's like the CCG, and there's a bunch of like Zargum's here, Jeff and Dan and Jess and Arthur Brock just gave a talk, but online. He was supposed to come. He didn't. But it's like a bunch of blockchain for good people. But the walls in the internet sucks, and the walls are full of lead. So I have to go outside to get good enough Wi-Fi to do a video call.
Nice.
It's wild. I'm used to seeing you in Ecuador. But this is scary.
I know. It's not supposed to be this cold in August.
It's like, damn that global warming.
All right. Thanks for that, Griff. Super helpful. I'm trying to think through. I don't see anything that is like directly impacting what we need to get done before the upgrade. No. Okay.
No. This was the point of this was to get this retrospective while it was fresh. Before we like realize, and then when we do the upgrade, we'll probably have to have another one of these retrospectives so that we can make sure to capture overarching things to improve this. Hopefully one day the hatch could be its own product. I don't know if that will happen, but it wouldn't happen very well without this. So
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. Back over to the agenda. Let's see. I didn't hear any brand new agenda items pop up today, so I think we can just get straight into the update grid here. Let's see. How's the ABC doing? Do we schedule?
Let's discuss first the 75% thing. It's actually the same topic regarding the augmented bonding curve. It's regarding using the quick and dirty solution or not. Griff just posted. Maybe you want to start, Griff. You posted a topic in the forum.
Yeah. So I mean, of course, this whole conversation might be moot in some ways if the people don't vote for 75%. Let me see what's in here. And I actually had did I reply already? Yeah, I did. Okay. Okay, cool. So I hadn't read your reply. So the topic is we want to separate governance from background. There are praise debates, right? And one of the winning proposal that ended up being compromised with was called no abnormal intervention. And one of the suggestions in that post was that we try to reward people who were deducted impact hours because they were deducted because they were paid. But that deduction that their payment was just die. And so they were deducted, but what they were deducted was money and governance rights. And that's not really fair. They shouldn't be deducted governance rights for being paid. They should just be deducted money. And so the idea was, well, we can tease them apart. We can still reward the people who were deducted with governance rights. And that would be up to 70, that would be about 75% of the governance rights that they would have received had they not received any deductions. And so that and the 75% idea was because, well, they did agree to by taking payment, they agreed to receive a governance deduction. But it's probably in the DAO's best interest to actually have governance in the hands of the people who are being paid to do this work full time, because their heads are in it and they have good perspective. So governance rights, by not giving them governance rights, it actually hurts the DAO. And so there were some ideas of how to actually technically develop this solution, but in the end, we don't know if we're even going to need to, because in the end, technically, it's difficult. There is a quick and dirty solution that Sem and I have a conflict around, like a disagreement around whether or not it's harmful or not to take that quick and dirty solution, and that would be to make a one character change in, a one character change in the bonding curve contract. And if we make it, it'd probably be a 2 character change. But basically, there's the virtual supply parameter, and right now that virtual supply parameter is an unsigned integer, so it can only be a positive number. But if we turn that into a negative integer, then if we make it just an int, we remove the u, then it could be a negative number, and effectively the DAO could mint TEC tokens and at the same time make the virtual supply negative, so the bonding curve would basically ignore the minting of the tokens. So for the bonding curve price, it wouldn't be affected. The bonding curve, like everything would be balanced out, because the DAO could actually negate the minting. So it can, but then when it mints those tokens, it puts those tokens into an infinite vesting contract, a long time. We'll all die before it's unvested, right? So that those tokens could never be sold into the bonding curve or anything. They would only be available for governance. So that's the quick and dirty solution. It would, it's great because it has one character change. It's horrible because it has not been tested. It has not really been thoroughly reviewed on whether or not it is safe. And it also creates some weird side effects on like Block Scout. It will look like people have more money in their wallet than they actually do, and these sorts of things, right? And Sem can probably go more into the other negatives around it. The other solution is drawn up on this forum post, where that Sem has, that would be basically making it so that you can have 2 tokens work in conviction voting. Long story short. So then we would mint a non-transferable token that's different than the TEC token. We won't have to mess with bonding curve math or anything. And we could just have multiple tokens aggregate into voting on conviction voting. That would be the ideal solution. However, it will take a lot of development and would not be ready at launch, nor will it guarantee to ever be ready. So it's like it would be like a hope, and probably it would take so long. It would also take another vote, honestly. So we would never really do it anyway. You know, it'd take another vote of the TEC to even upgrade and do all these things. So it's kind of not really a, if that was the only solution going, then this vote would be kind of irrelevant. But it would, if the vote passes, then we find that the unsigned, making it an integer, making the one character change would have dramatic effects or risks that are unacceptable. Then obviously we would have to pursue this. We would be more engaged in pursuing the second path. I think that's a background, the summary of the post. Yeah, Sem?
Yeah. Yeah, it is exactly right. in the original design, there was not this duality of tokens or this will to have governance tokens on top of monetary tokens. So this is why it was not included at the very beginning. And doing this change, sometimes the changes are easier than other times. So this is this time in which this dirty and quick solution would be time, but at the same time, it is not good practice at all. And this is why I would discard it. I don't think that this should be the way to go, specifically because we can say that the DAO can annulate the bad effect of this. There are cases in which the DAO could not annulate it. So it is basically putting a threat on a misconfiguration, which are very usual and normal. In OneHive, we already had some of these misconfigurations of the DAO, and it's just not good practice. The other solution that is the good other solution will take a lot of time because it was not planned beforehand. So the only thing that we could do be in between, a solution in between that will be ready before the commons upgrade will be to have this new token that has shared governance over the DAO voting, but that does not have control over conviction voting. This is the only thing that is available right now using the Gardens template. In the future, there will be other possibilities for having multi-token garden or this kind of things. It's an interesting thing to have. So probably in half a year, I don't know. It's something that will be available. So having these new governance tokens already in the DAO, it only is, and with partial governance over the DAO, it's only changing the permission in order to have these tokens be able to govern also conviction voting. So I don't know if that's something that is interesting. I don't know if the proposal is going to pass actually. Maybe it's something that we can discuss after the proposal passes. But I will not go. I am not going to put something that is potentially harmful in the code. This is not something
Can you better describe the risk?
The risk is that a misconfiguration that is putting a negative value that is higher than the tokens that are vested. This is the risk.
And so what would it take to have that risk?
Excuse me?
Like what would be an example of that risk occurring? Like, because that risk is still the case with virtual supply if it was a positive number, right? Like there's a misconfiguration risk of that positive number being higher, being not what it should be as well, right?
Well, but when you are putting a positive number, the bonding curve never breaks. When you are putting a negative number and it is higher than the tokens that are locked, then the bonding curve just stops working because it cannot calculate a negative number.
So
actually, it cannot be. Yeah.
Could we add a check that would say that the negative number can never be larger than the total supply of the token?
don't know if it's going to be the way to go, because of course you can say, okay, if you are a negative number, then act as a 1. If you act as a 0, it also breaks. So if you act as a 1, then you are going to give constant price for all the tokens, whatever it is, and it's going to be the lowest amount. I think that it's not. It's actually messing with the bounding curve. I would really not go with this way, because it's not only for this. It's for many other projects that are going to use the bounding curve that we don't even know.
But the thing is, for this to be messed up, right? It takes a DAO vote to change it, to change the virtual supply. And the DAO could vote to just take all of the money and burn it. Like, the DAO votes are inherently risky in this circumstance, you know? So, like, I don't feel like giving the functionality actually adds any extra risk that's not already there. The DAO could just remove money from the bonding curve.
Yeah. And when it moves money out of the bonding curve or whatever, it says clearly in the message that you are moving money out of somewhere, and people vote based on that. But it's not. It doesn't look like something that you are going to be doing within a vote. It's more like it's a kind of a hidden effect. And it's what I said in the post is it's faulty by the design. It's not the way that you should be building a bounding curve, and even if it could be something that we do specifically for TEC, I will not have this for the general bounding curve out there. And still, I don't want to do this for TEC, because it is directly it's flawed by design. You have to always remember that you have this weird thing with the bounding curve. And
what are the I'm sorry to interrupt. What are the I mean, because I think we understand this argument here, I'm pretty sure. What are the issues with deploying a second governance only token? What are the issues with that? Is there a problem with allowing conviction voting with deploying conviction voting with 2 governance tokens, with 2 separate tokens that count equally?
It's not possible. It would take a lot of work. It would take like months of development work, basically, to do that.
Okay, so then what's the problem with just changing what the voting token is and issuing everybody voting tokens? Can that be done? I agree that, like, I mean, I don't know that much, but I know that throwing in a negative number, you know, the capacity for negative numbers into something like this is not the way to go. I don't see that ending well.
Well, what I would say is that of course, if the bonding curve has a negative number in it, that's a problem. But the virtual supply being negative does not say that there would be a negative number in the bonding curve.
I understand that. I'm looking at the underlying structure of the maths, but that's fine. What is the problem with issuing a new governance token? Can't you just issue a new governance token and use that instead?
So the biggest problem there, what could be done is but would be kind of bad UX, would be basically using a new governance token that then would effectively be maybe a broken wrapped token, you know, so people could deposit TEC and then be able to vote in conviction voting. That could work, and then we like by default issue these wrapped tokens in advance. I think this is kind of how the BYOT conviction voting works in Gardens. you just have to deposit your token into the gardens, and then you can vote on conviction voting. But it adds bad UX, and it also would be some real development work to make that happen safely and audit the code and all of these things. Whereas with the bonding curve, we're doing the code review right now, and the code reviewer is Brett, probably the best person in the world to actually review this code. And if he says that it's safe to have a negative number in the virtual supply, I feel bad, but I feel
Did he say that? Is that what Brett said?
No, because he hasn't reviewed it yet.
Okay.
but
So we're talking about something. Okay, got it.
If he does review it and he believes that it's safe, from what I can see in my very mild, uneducated review, it seems very safe, or it doesn't add any extra risk. I agree that it makes the bonding curve less elegant, but in my opinion, I don't care if the bonding curve is less elegant. I actually just want functionality for my community, and there are other functionalities that this could enable that I really desire.
Well, don't you feel like let's have the auditor look at it? Don't you think? I'm like before. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot invested into something that hasn't been. I don't know.
That's the thing. If Brett says that it's safe, I feel good about it. And if Brett says it's not safe, then we shouldn't do it.
Okay. By the way, if Brett said that it's safe, I will not be deploying it because for me it's not safe. So you can find somebody else to deploy it, and it's okay. I mean, I am still finishing the commons upgrade. The bonding curve that you put on it doesn't really matter. So I guess that it's up to Brett if he feels comfortable with this or not.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of ifs, right? Does the governance, does the community agree that it's even worth doing, right? Like if that is voted no, then the community doesn't need it anyway. And then also if Brett says it's unsafe, then in this case. And also maybe potentially, Sam, you might you might change your opinion as well, right? I mean, that's also a possibility.
I will not deploy something that I don't feel comfortable 100%. This is what is normal to do. So if I will not be 100% sure of what what is the end result, somebody else should deploy it and everything. That's the thing. It's but I think that there are many other things to do, and also there is a lot of things that has to happen before we have to take the decision. Maybe it's early to discuss this. I only wanted to do the point that I will not be deploying something that I am not 100% sure. So we can go forward with the agenda.
What was that, Sam?
Yeah, we go forward with the rest of the topics. I think that this topic is
Thoroughly discussed.
enough for today. I guess that we will discuss it in the next meetings.
Yep. I think it will come back. All right. So ABC, did we get time on the calendar with Brett? I can't remember.
No.
Got it. But he did say he wanted to talk this week, so we just got to get it booked. I think it was probably my bad on that for not following through.
Definitely not your bad.
Okay. It probably was on me to get it booked, and I just was not capable of doing so for a couple of days. All right. Sounds good.
Well, maybe we can just take a couple moments in this call. Sem, at like 3 o'clock your time on Thursday, would that work?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll propose that as a time to him, and then that's 7 a.m. or that's 6 a.m. for you, Bradley, but maybe it's possible. And then otherwise we could try Friday as well. Are you at the same time, Sem? Would that work for you on Friday?
At the same time, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Not at 3 o'clock.
No. What about 5 p.m.?
Yes, it could be.
Okay. And then we'll need Paulo there as well, right?
Yes.
Do you think that he'll be available? Do you know of any of his time requirements?
No. Just let's guess, and if he cannot, then we reschedule.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll handle that right now. Thanks for bringing it up, Bradley.
Yep, absolutely. All right, and then on to gardens. Next step is run the demo and see what happens. So I think we're still good there. Migration tool, that was getting pretty close last time we talked as well.
Yeah, we are. Well, actually, I can share some more stuff. What we did this week. We had some problems with the IBM CRISPR. It still have some bugs. So we have been finding out them, and now it looks like it's operational again. And but it removed so much time for the actual demo. So in the state in which we are is that the Commons upgrade is functional but not released. In the Garden DAO, I have to check out with Paulo which is the state on that. And on the other side, the DAO in which we are going to migrate from Wrapped into the gardens. Basically, we are going to use Wrapped as a substitute of XDAI, of Wrapped XDAI in Rinkevi. This DAO is already prepared as well. It only took to write a IBM CRISPR script in order to have two agents, one migration tools, and Ether within it. And the thing that we are right now is we are going to migrate it. I just have to coordinate with Paulo in order to see if he's ready and check it out. Once it is done, the next step would be to do this test with all the community if we want, because we also it may also be interesting to see if all the tokens are minted in the new DAO based on the snapshot taken in the previous DAO, something like that. Something like that. And yeah, this is the state in regards of that. A bit. We are in the middle of what we were thinking last week that we will be able to. We are in the middle of the process. There are also other news for all the people who might be interested in the IBM CRISPR. Probably it's worth to share my screen now.
A really quick question on the migration. Do people end up keeping their TCH tokens, their hatch tokens?
Yes, it is something that they are not transferable. They are in the old DAO. They still control the old DAO, but the old DAO doesn't have any funds.
Cool.
Okay. So, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to be we have a different way to when you are the VM CRISPR is a JavaScript library, so it has its own JavaScript functions, but we also think that command line language like this one would be interesting for this. So it would be as easy as using these 5 commands in order to put one after the other to configure the vote. So for example, we could have install new voting. This new is the label of the new voting. So from now on, voting new is going to be the reference that you are going to be using here. For example, you could grant to voting new permissions to mint into the token manager, and you could also give it permissions to burn. And yeah, when you are installing something, you have to put the parameters. So token manager is the reference to the token manager, in that case the first token manager that is installed, and you can also give the 50% support and 10% quorum using these indicators that give it multiplies it by 10 to the 18. And you can also execute mint over the token manager. Token manager and token manager 0 is the same. You can also mint some 100 tokens, and then you can also use the agent in order to swap or revoke permissions. So this this looks like how it should be the script, let's say the script language for the EVM CRISPR, and you just write it, and this is what it goes directly to the DAO in order to have a vote. It's still something in progress. Maybe there are things that change from this, but this is the way that it's going. Also, we have been discussing into gardens in order to have input in the garden to add these kind of things, this kind of scripts, and execute them into the garden decisions. So this is some updates on the EVM CRISPR.
All right.
And yes, as I was saying, we had still some bugs in it. Probably there are still something else, and I hope that we can have a stable release soon. Soon, TM.
Enough.
But it works for our use cases. Now it works for our use cases.
Okay. Sounds good. Maybe that soon could be our Thursday hack session.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Dude, that's amazing, Sam. Nice work, man. I love the command line action.
Yeah, it's going to be super cool. The idea was from Gabi, I think. We were discussing Gabi, Pablo, and me, and they there were interesting ideas on how to implement this with JavaScript templates. It comes from Aragon 1 discussions as well. So I don't know if we have something else to.
The last thing is that I wanted to cover here is config dashboard demo call on. There was a demo on the Thursday call last week, I believe. How did that go?
Swimmingly. Fabio killed it.
Awesome.
Yeah, the dashboard's out. So if you want to give a first crack at it, I mean, Vitor, I don't know, is there anything you want to say about the dashboard?
No, yeah, like the initial part, like of the introduction of the dashboard, so we can understand better, like each section is there, the learning section as well, so we can like as well like understand a little bit better parameters, and then the first section that is the token lockup is good to play with, and also the tile voting, so you can go there and play with. There are a few little things that we need to fix yet, but like the general Go integration of the backend is there. And there are like two other parts to launch. So probably the next one will be the conviction voting, which is very nice. And then after the ABC, and finally we'll have the stats page, like final stats page, when you can see all of the output of your parameters and can generate your issue for voting. So like the workflow will be similar to the other dashboard, but it will be way prettier. It is already way prettier. And yeah, that's it. So we're good to go.
All right.
Yeah,
Anyone has any questions?
I'll post the link in if you guys want to play in the Commons Swarm channel. It's definitely not totally done. I mean, in fact, I'll post the issues link with it, so you can make issues if you see anything. But it's definitely just the first big milestone. It's like, hey, go, here's a dashboard, and but there's a lot of steps left. But it's cool. The token thaw is up and the disputable voting is up, and I think it'll be interesting visualizations that you guys will enjoy.
Awesome. All right. Look forward to seeing that link. I think that covers everything for this week. We've got our hack session on the books for Thursday evening Europe time, and maybe we can get a test run started of EVM CRISPR migration. Yeah. All right. Moving forward. Big progress. That's big progress. Great work, everybody.